What's up, everyone? Welcome back or welcome. This is your first visit. I'm Matt. On this channel, I review brand new cars. Today, I'm back at Coggin Honda in Jacksonville, Florida. And I'll take a close look at this brand new 2027 Honda HR-V. This particular one is the Sport two-wheel drive. We're going to see if anything has changed since 2026 model year. Also, I want to find out if it's still a top contender in this crowded subcompact SUV market. So if you like watching videos like this, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, give me a thumbs up, and now let's get back to this. And here it is, this beautiful Milano red HR-V Sport two-wheel drive. It's 2027 model year. But before we dive into this one, let's talk about the HR-V as a nameplate. So some of you might not know that the first HR-V actually was made in 1998, but it was only in Japan and some of the other countries, but it didn't make it into United States until 2015 for 2016 model year. In 2023, we got this design, but it was refreshed for 2026 model year. See if anything's changed for 2027. Let's take a look. And since the refresh was very recent, there are no differences for 2027 as far as the look of this vehicle. Well, let's take a closer look and see what's going on. We have this fairly flat hood with the indented down the middle, and those sides are actually raised up just a little bit. In terms of lights, we have the fully LED reflector headlamps and fully LED daytime running lamps and turn signals. And as we scroll down, you can see the air curtains on the side to improve the aerodynamics of this vehicle. And the grille is blacked out as well. Now, what's strange that on the sport trim where everything is blacked out, we have the shiny chrome Honda logo, but the bottom of the bumper is blacked out as well. Now, let's pop this hood open and let's see what powers it up. As far as the powertrain, we have one choice, and this is a 2-liter naturally aspirated 4-cylinder engine delivering 158 horsepower, 138 pound-feet of torque. It is mated to a CVT transmission. If you get the two-wheel drive as this one, you'll get about 28 miles per gallon combined, 26 or 30. Now, it is also important to mention that outside of the United States, there is a hybrid version of the HR-V, which is not available here in the States, and it is a 1.5-liter engine hybrid system. That's got about 129 horsepower, if I'm not mistaken, but it delivers about 50 miles to a gallon. So that's a lot more efficient than this one. I don't know whether it's ever going to make it into the United States or whether we're going to see the hybrid version. For now, this is what we have. What else is going on underneath the hood? We have the prop stick right here. We have some sound insulation. Well, let's close it up and talk about the dimensions. So as far as the width, we have 72.4, 63.4 inches tall, 179.8 is the total length of this vehicle. And then between the wheels, we have 104.5 inches, of course. Let's take a look and see what's going on as far as the wheel and tires. On this HR-V Sport two-wheel drive, we have the shiny black 18-inch rims, which look pretty good. We have the all-season tires, 225 by 55. That's the tire size. Some black cladding around the wheels as well as at the bottom of this vehicle. By the way, 7.3 inches is the ground clearance. We have the shiny black mirror caps that include the turn signals and the blind spot assist. Proximity entry system. I have the key on me so I can lock it or unlock it. We don't have the power folding doors. Everything around the windows is blacked out. And yes, this is 2027 HR-V two-wheel drive Sport. We'll get more detail on the pricing, but $29,850 is what we have on this particular one. Moving on to the back, it has a very sleek and sporty design, probably one of the nicest in its class, in my opinion. And if I blink the turn signals and turn the lights on, you notice that the turn signals are amber. They're all LEDs and nicely glowing lights inside of this clear plastic. We also have the reverse lights here as well. shiny black. Again, as far as the Honda logo, exposed wiper, third brake light, sport trim on the side, and yes, you have one exhaust that's showing up on your HRV on the other side. Let's open up this gate and let's see how much space we have inside. And even though it does not have a power lift gate, it is very light and easy to open. We have the rear view camera down here. And in terms of the cargo space, 24.4 cubic feet is what we have, with the seats folded up like this. And if you open these up, they're 60/40 as far as folding. It opens up more than double. 55.5 is the total space with the seats folding down. So this particular one has the cargo mat, and underneath here we have an additional storage. But if you're looking for a spare tire, you pop this styrofoam up and there is a temporary use spare tire in this vehicle as well. 12-volt power outlet and some illumination that completes this cargo space area. I'm going to try to get in the back seat to see how much room I'll have. And here in the back seat, I have this front seat that's adjusted to my regular driving position. On a good day, like today, I'm 6 feet tall, sometimes 5'11", and I have about 2.5, maybe 3 inches above my head. I'm not touching. I am close, though, to the back seats, and I have plenty of shoulder rooms as well. Now, the seats are fairly low and short, so you can see my knees are up, but it's not very uncomfortable. Well, let's see what else is going on the interior. And here in terms of the rear door panel, this is hard plastic, as is this portion right here. We have the nice and soft armrest, window control door handle, and a bottle/cup holder. Now, the seats on the sport trim and the LX trim, they're going to be fabric ones. Now, the sport trim has the orange contrast stitching, as well as a little bit nicer design, in my opinion. You do not have an armrest here in the back, even on the top of the line trim. And only the passenger seat has some seat back storage. Now, one thing that I would like to see is some kind of vents here. There's no vents, there's no USB charging, so that should be improved, in my opinion. And if we take a look underneath here, I don't see any vents, or I don't feel any air blowing out from underneath here. So it's safe to assume that there are no vents in here. Up on top, we have some illumination. And let's take a look, see what's going on in the front. And as always, before we get inside, let's listen to the sound of the closing door from the outside. All right. It's probably about 6 or 7 out of 10, so it could be better, but it's definitely not the worst. And in terms of the front door panel, we have the softer touch material here right on top, but this is still hard plastic. This is nice and soft. Window, mirror, and lock controls are right here. We have a little bit more storage at the bottom, and the speaker that's built into the door. The seats in front have manual adjustments, both for driver and passenger. So no power seats on this, nothing crazy in the pedal box. And then we have the traction control that you can turn off here. And we have the manual tilt and telescoping steering wheel. We're going to continue this tour with the sound of the closing door from the inside. And believe it or not, it sounds much better. And here's the interior of this 2027 Honda HRV. But before we get in details, let's touch some stuff and see how that feels. So this is a softer touch material, similar thing as you find on the top of the front door trim, some kind of a leatherette covering for the front of the dashboard. And we have this honeycomb design that we've seen on the Honda Civic that houses the vents inside of here, and this is how you control them up and down. So we have the 9-inch screen here, but we'll get to the functionality of it in a moment. And the steering wheel, that is actually on the larger side, and it's fairly thin. I was kind of surprised to see that. I thought they were going to make it a little bit thicker. It is thicker in some spots, and it has this orange contrast stitching. On the left-hand side of the steering wheel, you'll find the seek, track, volume, home, and adjustments of what's going on in the instrument cluster. On the right-hand side, basically the cruise control and the lane keep assist. Those are standard features on this vehicle. We also have some shiny black trim in the middle and the Honda logo. And let's see what's going on in the instrument cluster. So right-hand side, speedometer, tachometer on the left-hand side. And as you can see, I can change of what's displayed on the left gauge. And it shows 106 degrees outside, so another scorching hot day in Florida, 20 miles on this vehicle. And we are almost full in park, but that's what you see in the settings here. So gauge display settings, we can go to menu up and down. and see what's going to be displayed here. As you can see, everything's pretty much checked in. So that's what's going to display here. I'm going to hit this home button and get out of here. So let's move on to the infotainment system. And that's something that's been upgraded for last year. So not this year, but last year. Home, that's going to take you to this main home screen on this HRV. Very simple, okay? We have the audio source, CarPlay, Android Auto, I have my phone connected to it. As you can see, that's nice and colorful display. And if you need to get out of here, you have that little Honda icon here. What else do we have in the main screen? So let's see, audio source, Android Auto, general settings, system connection display, sound, rear camera, and then we can connect the phone. This is a shortcut to it. Power and volume knob are right here. So it is very basic in terms of the infotainment system. Kind of wish that Honda updated it to this Google-based one as they do on some of their higher models. Now, in terms of this rear view camera, decent quality. We have 3 different angles, as you can see, and let's put it back in park. And then scrolling down, hazard lights, and down here, we have the controls for the temperature. So we have the single zone climate control. So I kind of wish that we at least get a double zone, dual zone if people are operating on different temperatures. But you have the temperature control, fan control, and the different modes here. We also have the front window defroster, defogger, rear window defroster, and the heated mirrors. Down below, you'll have 2 USB Type-C ports and the wireless charging cup holders, and this pretty cool looking shifter. I actually like the way that they set up this whole assemble here, and the shifter is nice, it's comfortable. We have the drive, we have sport, we have the low mode, and put it back in park. Drive modes. So in terms of the drive modes, we have normal, Econ, and Snow. Those are your 3 drive modes that are available. We also have the Hill and Descent Assist, which is the next button over, electronic parking brake hold, and we have the USB charging underneath. We also have additional storage, and in this console, more storage down here as well. Moving up to the top, we have the regular mirror, the ability to control your LED lights on the interior here, and inside of the visors we have illuminated mirrors. There's no sunroof on this sports trim HRV. There's an additional speaker on the A-pillar, and this is the interior of this brand new vehicle. Let's talk pricing and take it for a spin. I like talking about Honda pricing because they make it really simple to choose a vehicle. There are 3 trim levels: LX, Sport, and the EXL. LX 26,600, Sport 28,400, EXL 30,450. That's not including the 1450 destination charge, as well as these are the 2-wheel drive models. If you want the all-wheel drive, you add $1,500 to either one of them. So the top of the line EXL is going to be about 33,400 after destination and the all-wheel drive. So this is in the top configuration. Now, how is that compared to the rest of the market? Now, the market is kind of all over the place. We have some of the vehicles that are starting at about $24,000, and this would be like the Chevy Trax, for example. That's one of the least expensive vehicles in that class. And then we have the newcomers like the Kia Seltos, which starts also at about $28,000, but it goes up all the way to about, I've done one top of the line trim, the turbo model, for about $37,000. And there's everything in between. So it's very much in range with the market. What does it offer to the buyer? Why should you go with the HRV? Now, we're going to talk about that while driving. Well, the HRV is definitely not the shiniest vehicle in its class. And what I mean by that, it doesn't have the biggest infotainment system, doesn't have the most features, it doesn't have the most powerful or the most efficient engine in its class, and yet it sells very, very well. So why do people flock back to Honda? And I think the short answer to it is simplicity. A lot of people don't like to overcomplicate it, and everything that you need is right in front of you. Now, would I like to see more elaborate infotainment system on the Honda, maybe something like they use on the higher models like the Passport or Accord or the Pilot? Yes, I think that would be really cool, but definitely not at the cost of sacrificing reliability of the brand. And yes, they are very conservative. They always have been. I worked for Honda dealerships for 13 years, and I am on 6th or 7th Honda. And why do we keep coming back for that? Because they never broke down on us. Not a single one that we had. We had Odyssey, a couple Pilots, a few CRVs. I had a Civic before. So yeah, I mean, all of those vehicles tend to last for a very, very long time. And I think that's why people come back and buy a Honda vehicle. Now, with that said, let's take this one on a quick spin and let's see how that turns to begin with. So we have this parking lot right here. I'm going to turn the steering wheel all the way to my right and see if I can make a full circle. And this fairly tight parking lot, yeah, and I picked one right next to the post. But you know what? This is an HRV, and guess what? Look, I'm doing a circle here in the middle of this parking lot, and I made it. So it's got a nice and tight turning radius. We'll take that on the road and check out some of the basic driving dynamics, see how that vehicle handles. Because, yeah, it is important to have power, just enough power in terms of a vehicle like this to merge in traffic and be safe about it. I don't think anyone would be buying a vehicle as such to, do like a street racing or drag racing of any kind. And if you are looking for more zip, there are options available in the segment. I want to mention the Mazda CX-30 as a base option. Even it's got 186 horsepower, and if you opt in for the 2.5 liter turbocharged engine on the CX-30, you get 250 horsepower. Talking about some zip, yeah, that's definitely there. Also, the new Kia Seltos has the turbo option available, so definitely something more performance oriented. And I have driven the Seltos recently, can check out the review of it. Very impressive, to be honest with you. But again, would I buy the Seltos versus the CRV? Well, I'm not sure. We're going to take that for a quick spin, starting with merging in traffic. And check this out, guys. Getting in traffic. Okay, I was able to actually get up to speed and catch the ongoing traffic here. Yeah, it wasn't the fastest or the most exhilarating experience, that's for sure, but it did the job. And in terms of the acceleration from the stop, we're stopped right here. All right, well, let's hit it. Okay, guys, we got it up to 51 miles per hour, and it is painfully slow. So for everyday driving, it is okay. You want to take your kids to school, you want to go shopping, you want to go around town, not a problem, none whatsoever. However, if you're looking for some fun driving, this probably is not the vehicle for you. It's got a decent gas mileage. We're talking about 28 miles per gallon combined. I wish there was a hybrid version of it. A lot of companies are betting on hybrids, including Toyota, and they're having some great successes with it. And I know people are looking for something that's going to have a better gas mileage. It's going to have more power, and the hybrid can deliver on both fronts. Like I mentioned in the beginning or during the engine presentation, there is a hybrid that is available elsewhere, not in the United States. It doesn't have a ton more horsepower. As a matter of fact, it has less horsepower. It is heavier. It is more gas efficient, but in terms of the acceleration and performance, it is about a second slower than this one. So I don't know if that's going to help those who are looking for performance vehicles. To sum it all up, guys, as we take it back to the dealership, I still think it's a very solid contender in the crowded subcompact SUV segment, and not only in terms of the value, but definitely the reliability, dependability, and safety. The quality of the build is there. There's no cheap plastic. There's no rattle squeaks when you drive this vehicle. Of course, it's brand new one, so most of them are not going to have that, but you can feel it right away once you touch this vehicle, the sides and the middle console right here. On my Chevy Trax, the one that I drive for work, unfortunately, I mean, it's a good performing vehicle, but everything feels very, very cheap and very hard. You don't have that same feeling here on the HR-V, and that's not only the Chevy Trax. Even if you look at the Toyota Corolla Cross, sadly, I mean, they use a lot of cheap plastic materials on the inside. In terms of reliability, there were very few complaints from the HR-V owners when I looked at some of the forums, so definitely a reliable vehicle. Basic warranty, 3 years 36. Honda doesn't offer any 100,000 miles warranty as a standard equipment. Now, you can buy that as an additional option. They're not very pricey because they don't break that much. So if you are looking, you're concerned about the warranty, you can definitely add that onto your purchase. Safety is another important factor when you're looking at the vehicles for yourself and your family. And the HR-V has been consistently rated one of the top safety picks, but by IHHS Institute and highly rated by the NHTSA. However, because this is the 2027 model year, it says that it's not been rated yet, but it's no difference than 2026. And speaking of the differences, I haven't found any. Now, someone told me that the only difference that they made is they have the capless gas tank inlet, so you don't have to have the cap on it anymore. But I wasn't able to verify that because they don't have 26s anymore, so you can see that on the 26, if that was the case already or if that's something new for 2027 model year. So overall, I think it's definitely worth looking at if you're looking for a subcompact SUV. And let me know if you have one. Maybe in the comment section, you're going to make somebody's life easier when you share your experience with the HR-V. And we can definitely keep this conversation going in the comment section. I tried to respond to all of them, guys, and thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, don't forget to give me a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and thank you so much if you're already a subscriber. Such an easy and free way to support the channel and help me grow it so I can access more vehicles and present them to you. Thank you very much again, and I'll see you in my next video. Cheers.